Dressed in a stunning red, your head upon my chest. The pain inside means nothing. Take off your shirt and lay down right next to the pile of things we loved when we were younger. Eyes half closed. You were the answer that I had, but you weren't all I wanted. You weren't all I needed. Oh. Take a spot in front of me and listen now, I'm coming clean. There's so many things I think you should know. Take apart all the melodies and deconstruct what's inside of me. Then all I wanna see before I go. So take a You were the answer to my dreams. You sent in me so deep. I wanna tell you something. Betrayed by the words I said. My head upon your chest. The pain inside meant nothing. Let's get the fuck out of this town. Pass around a bottle in remembrance of our hearts, dear. Eyes half closed. I am the one you're searching for, but I'm not all you wanted. I'm not all you.
All right, everyone, good morning. And welcome back to Hippo Cup 6, the 2023 edition of Hippo Cup. We're here in finals weekend, day number 2, with our losers round 7 matchup. Spezi versus Pun starting off today. We followed up by Reginald versus One Dance as our winners final a little bit later on. But we're going to get to start things off with match that'll decide a team getting to top 3. Both these teams now, of course, guaranteed top 4 by virtue of their current standing in the bracket. And kind of interesting routes to get here, right? Pawn went through winner's bracket, ended up dropping to Team Reginald last week 7-3. I think people thought that was maybe a little less close than expected. Meanwhile, Spezi have been making a pretty crazy losers bracket run. They lost to all G8 bros early on in the round of 16, and then beat the Russian team Hyper X Ally FPS. They beat Boshi Laroka, they beat Cookie Nami, they beat Karcher, and then they got their revenge on all G8 bros yesterday. Thank you, Spotify, for auto-pausing. Very much a team that I've described as being a Cinderella, and I absolutely don't mean that in a negative way. They have made a run through a very difficult losers bracket, beating some very good teams and putting on some very good performances themselves. But this, I think, is a whole different task because, you know, Pawn, when you looked at the sign-up list, was one of those teams that I think was being talked about as, oh my gosh, you know, they're just going to get to top 4 without really thinking about it, and here they are. But again, thank you, Spotify, for auto-pausing. You're very cool. I don't need to know. That's awesome. But yeah, so they kind of waltzed through, and, you know, was the expectation. And, you know, here they are, top 4. But Spezi's made a habit of just winning matches however it takes. You know, whatever the pick strategy needed to be, whatever the ban strategy needed to be, whatever the performance needed to look like. That's just been what they've done en route to winning all of those losers matches. So, you know, clearly evidenced from the other match yesterday, a team that you kind of just can't count out against anyone. So I think this should be a pretty interesting one. You know, also curious to see who's available here. There's some not super great times for some of these players in this match, as kind of happens when you are a North America player in an international match. You know, you've got people playing at 7, 8 a.m. So we'll see if anybody is missing out that might be a key factor or might have been a key factor if available. Just to recap teams before we get into the bans and picks. Team Spezi, captained by Semi, joined by Ahaf, Deputy Force, Batball, Painting Qual, Polly, Rundy, Zubs, and the recently renamed Tim Kackner, now Ocarina. I don't actually know how long he's been under the name Ocarina, I will not lie. But I was just revealed that information yesterday because it was a revert, so it doesn't show on his profile, so I didn't know in the first place, but that is who that is. Over on Team Pawn, Taquito, Chemotherapy, Henri, Majora, Milo Milkshake, Red Pixel, Rimuru, Worst Hard Rock Player, and Zoomer. So, you know, the scale of the players in these two teams in terms of open rank tournament history obviously does not give fair indication as to their performances in this tournament so far. You know, I think you look at the team of Pawn and you say, oh, those are all really, really well-known top-end open rank tournament players. And, you know, you kind of look at Spezi as a team that, in terms of the roster on paper, it looks like maybe doesn't have quite the same name value to it. But, you know, you win, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches now in one tournament. And you kind of just put yourself into the cultural consciousness automatically. So here we are. We go through some bans. We get Pawn double banning DT with DT3 and DT6. Spezi with the Nomad 7 and DT1 bans. And we're going to go first pick Hard Rock 3 for Spezi. I'm actually going to take a look real quick at their yesterday match. They had this picked against them by all G8 bros yesterday, and they won it as a breakpoint. And that was one of the breakpoints that really helped them to break that match open. It, I think, gave them a 4 or 5-1 lead when they won that point yesterday. So, looking to start off with an early solid performance on a match that they've already won once this weekend. Now, of course, you know, elephant in the room a little bit is that Pawn got to this match by virtue of a forfeit. They did not have to play yesterday because the MREC and company team forfeited against them. So we don't have any information for Pawn on this pool. They didn't have to reveal their bans. They didn't have to show any scores. You know, we don't know what they're necessarily going to be picking. So it does confer a certain amount of advantage to that team coming into a match against the team who they've seen play 11 maps in this pool already. Sorry. So we're gonna go. We're gonna have a first pick Hard Rock 3. It is flow snap aim heavy Hard Rock pick. Very, very tricky. Lots of hard aim patterns. Also some slider aim, just because we love putting some slider aim in. This is I think a pretty difficult map to start off your match with. All right, so we've got Painted Koala, Semi, Deputy Force, and Ocarina, Zoomer, worst HR player, Rimmer, and Enri. Map number 1 here. A lot on the line in this match. Winner goes on to the Grand Finals weekend. They get a spot in the top 3, which in this tournament this year is a pretty big accomplishment for just about anyone. I mean, there are maybe 1 or 2 teams that would be disappointed with anything short of that, but for most anyone else, that's a huge accomplishment. As to be expected, you know, this pool is just absurdly difficult. You're going to see lots of breaks all over the place in many of these picks. As Spezi finds some full resets, worst HR player, the only combo still left in the lobby, in fact, as 7 players miss, and Pon will have the early 1.4 million point lead. There goes Semi, Painted Koala, and Deputy Force on that really difficult doubles pattern. That's very tough to hit. Ocarina hitting it. All 4 members of Pon actually getting through that section, though Zoomer and Unri did not have much combo. But worst HR player is going to be a force to be reckoned with, I think, on this pool, especially in the Grand Finals pool. His ability to play kind of wonky maps is absurd. And if they don't have Taquito for some of the picks, I think worst HR player is going to be the guy to look to step up with some degree of frequency. And it's going to be up to Spezi to see who they can find that can match that. Ocarina putting up a good showing, but unfortunately, you know, just not enough from the team behind him to really do enough. 300 combos on Semi and Deputy Force, 450 on Ocarina, but it's just being matched across the board. Pon does have a triple reset, but it's a quad reset for Spezi as they 4-break. The opportunity was there, and the opportunity was gone just as quickly as it had come. And so that is pretty much going to settle this one. It's going to be Pon taking the opening break point by a 6 million and change point margin. And that entire margin, in fact, can be attributed to worst HR player. 6.2 million, the best score in the lobby by a considerable margin. Almost 3 million clear of the next best player. Zoomer on the S rank. Many a slider break, so you know the score itself not going to be as great as it may have been otherwise, but S rank is quite impressive. 0 misses on that is kind of nuts. Worst HR player, 2 misses, and yeah, unfortunately not really what Spezi would have liked to start the match off. This map did not go as well for them today as it did yesterday. A little bit of nerves, a little bit of shakiness perhaps coming into a match as big as this one. We'll see. They can get kind of settled down and get settled into the groove of this match. It's a long way to the finish line in a best of 15, so 1 map here and there is not going to be the end of the world, but it always helps to get off on the right foot, and that is what Pon have done here. Yeah, I mean, that is actually it's interesting, you know, Zoomer, 3.2 million, but it's an S rank. I don't think, oops, I clicked on his username instead of on the map. There we go. I don't think this map has all that many FCs, right? Like, if it's not in the single digits, it's barely above it. So even just getting an S rank is a pretty decent achievement. And for their own first pick, Pon are going to go ahead and go over to double time 5. We're gonna get Masterpiece. Oh baby, oh baby, this will be fun. This is one of those maps that everyone knows, everyone loves, and worst HR player FC'd with 2 100s about 20 minutes ago. I love Hippo Cup. But yeah, so everybody's familiar with this map. It is old DT, very, very hard geometric patterns. You've got, you know, the extended long square pattern that will probably cause some chain misses, but you know, it's iconic. You can't hate. It's 2010 map, 270 BPM, air 9.67. So insofar as a map like this can have a little bit of reading component to it, it has a little reading component to it. It's not as much as last week's DT5, which was actually just a straight up reading map. This one definitely leans a little more into the aim and kind of that pattern consistency, but can't take away from the fact that the note density of this is relatively high, even though that's not really the focus of what's different. And yeah, I mean, worst HR player going to come into this about as confident on his masterpiece DT as it's possible to be, coming in off of an FC literally half an hour ago. So it's going to be interesting to see. I don't know who the fourth is for Spezi here, but we'll see who can come up with a good showing from their team on this map. Painted Koala has been playing really well so far in this tournament. Ocarina has been a super solid mechanics player. Less familiar with Ahoff on these maps, and Deputy Force as well. Deputy Force to me feels like a little bit of a fill player for them sometimes, so we'll see how the bottom row goes for that team. But I think all eyes really on worst HR player, just knowing he had that FC just a little bit ago, and he has the early break. He's gonna Praxia it. We're gonna miss right at the start to ensure that we don't have FC nerves in the match. And it is Painted Koala against Zoomer and Henri with the FCs remaining after the first couple hundred combo, and there goes Painted Koala. Also Ahoff breaking. So it is now just Zoomer and Henri. And we'll see how big of a lead Pon can establish. Spezi's got their work cut out for them now. They've really got to recover some combo wherever they can. Falling behind early when the map gets harder and harder continually is never good. Another break from Deputy Force and Ahoff. Map not going super well for Spezi. There goes Painted Koala as well. So, just going to kind of keep watching Pon and see how long they can keep some combos up. There goes Henri's FC as well as chemotherapy breaking. And Zoomer. It is Zoomer hours, as well as Ocarina. Mentioned him as that mechanics player for Spezi. He is showing up with the best combo on their side. Zoomer breaks on, I'm not sure what. There goes Ocarina on the square, as well as many other people. We're going to get through this second chorus, and then we'll get to the real fun. All the pentagons. Everybody hit the pentagons except for Henri. They made them look so easy. Zoomer Deputy Force break. Painted Koala and chemotherapy break. We're just trading left, right, and center. Ahoff. Oh, he missed right after. And here go the chain misses. The squares. Worst HR player. Worst HR player. Okay, he breaks. Well, that was fun for a moment. And we're going to come into the last quarter of the map with no combo anywhere and a 1.5 million point lead for Pon that is probably pretty safe. Yeah, worst HR player probably kind of pissed because, I mean, like I said, he literally FC'd this, you know, half hour ago with 2 100s. So anything short of that was going to be a disappointment. But, you know, he can take a little solace in the fact that they're going to win it, and it was never really in doubt. There was a moment there where Spezi had a possible comeback lined up, but the squares had something to say about that. And there is the consolidation of that breakpoint. So 2-0 Pon to start things off. Very respectable score from Ocarina. Tim Kackner, the mechanics man, doing okay for himself with the 2.2 mil, but Zoomer just outdoing him by a bit, couple 100,000 points better, and worst HR player just ever so slightly behind. 3 misses on worst HR player, by the way. Lowest in the lobby by 4 behind Zoomer, and then, you know, it just kind of goes up from there, which is what you expect to happen on a map like that. It's very, very difficult. So 2-0 down now for Spezi. Still 6 points from, you know, the outcome either way, so not going to be the end of the world. But definitely want to see if they can get a point on the board here on their second pick. Don't want to fall behind that early double break. And it is going to be Nomad 5. So this is another map that they won yesterday. They're trying to stick to their guns with maps that they were successful on yesterday. Interesting. This is really interesting to me. Spezi, their first 2 picks are both maps that All G8 Bros picked against them yesterday. So those were their 2 early break points, were Hard Rock 3 and Nomad 5. And now they're picking them themselves, which is really interesting to see strategically. Not something you're used to having happen day in and day out. But if they felt like these were good maps for them, I mean, obviously, you know, not the craziest thing in the world. It's just an interesting turn of events. Mope, AR5 2B, and very, very difficult. Especially, like, I gotta think the hidden players do not have a great time here. I have to think that this is just like the worst HR player map of all time. I believe Depi Force top scored this for Spezi yesterday. I will have to double check and see as I scroll up in their match. He did indeed. He put up a 607K, which, I mean, you know, conceptually, that score doesn't sound like much, but if you know the map, you kind of know what you're getting into. And we're in fact going to turn it down quite a bit. Hopefully nobody's ears explode, because this section is very difficult to listen to. But we've got the same roster here for Spezi as yesterday, with Batball, Semi, Ahaf, and Depi Force. That was their same 4. And over on the pawn side, it looks like, I wonder if they're just short of people. It's Zoomer, Worst HR player, Chemotherapy, and Enry again. I mean, maybe that's just their roster for this, but I don't feel like that would be their optimal roster with this. Taquito is not here. I gotta think Taquito would be into this, right? Like, he's really good at gimmicky, reading-y stuff. Also, yes, the music is very quiet, as I said. Like, you all know this song. Like, I think it's appropriate to turn this down a little bit. But this is, I think, a winnable pick for Spezi, considering that it's just really hard to have any sort of consistency on. If you kind of just have a basic level of reading and have a player or two who can do okay on it, you might have a chance at winning it. Semi having a lot of trouble following those sliders. He's having trouble getting on rhythm. Same with Ahaf there. But fortunately for them, Pawn is not doing super great either. Batball is carrying the load here for both teams in this map. Who's the last player with an FC finally does break, and now it's just worst HR player time, I guess. Because there's no combo over 50. Oh, now there is, other than worst HR player, and he's up at 193, as we're going to get into the diff spike in just a moment. And, man, I guess Zoomer's just a low AR player now. Never mind, he misread. I spoke too soon. Well, we're going to see. 700,000 point lead for Pawn, but that can go away. If worst HR player breaks, the door kind of opens, but if worst HR player holds, this is going to be a very tough uphill battle for Spezi to avoid another breakpoint. And here we go. It's worst HR player hours. Semi and Depi Force do both keep their combo through the first part of this diff spike. There goes Semi. Depi Force still holding on, but worst HR player is as well. And yeah, this is what you expected coming into this. Depi Force to reprise his role as the top scorer on his team from yesterday, and worst HR player to just be like worst HR player. I mean, it's a great attempt from Spezi, especially from Depi Force, but worst HR player had other things in mind, and that's a 1,000,000-point win for Pawn. And that is a 3-0 double break point lead. Worst HR player got a B rank. He got a B rank. That's illegal. You don't get a B rank on this. He got a B rank 0 miss. Oh man. Depi Force with the 6. Actually, Batball with a 2 miss. I don't know what entirely what happened. I guess he just couldn't keep a combo, because with a 2 miss, he must have just had a little trouble keeping a combo up, or they were in really unfortunate places. I'm not sure. That's a great miscount. but didn't translate into a great score for him, unfortunately. And yeah, it's 3-0, just like that. And as I said, you know, go down an early double break point, things get kind of difficult. I'm curious to see if Spezi is going to rethink the pick strategy a little bit going forward. You know, maybe it's hard to guess at what people are strategizing, right? But, you know, whether Hard Rock 3 and Nomad 5 were picks they would have chosen yesterday regardless, or if they felt like, well, we won those, so let's pick them. I don't know which way that really went. But, you know, maybe picking stuff that they had picked before and won before as a little strategy change just to shake things up might not be the worst idea. I think it's tough picking into this team, obviously, because they've got a Team Pon has mechanics covered really well, and they have gimmick covered really well, but, you know, maybe you go into some of those tapping maps, because Spezi looked really good on the tapping maps yesterday. I mean, they picked DC4, Fremont 3, won both of them pretty convincingly. I know Pon is on a different tier mechanically compared to all G8 bros, but still, like, you know, maybe you switch it up and go that way at some point here. And, oh dear lord, they're actually picking Nomad 8. My brain. They're actually picking Nomad 8. So, Logan Rock Witch by Ariu, back when he was called Lane. It's Big Black, but CS6 AR9, and with Apex Twin elevator music. That's literally all it is. You would have to slow it down, right? Because this is 264 BPM. I don't know how much slower that is than Big Black, but like if you got a slightly slowed down version of Big Black and replace the audio in this, would it work? Kind of with Ahoff here. This is like the worst pick ever. I don't like it very much. My ears don't like it very much, and that's saying something considering we just listened to freaking Mope. But well, what are you gonna do? Oh my gosh, please get in the lobby and start, please. I am begging, please. The sooner we can start, the sooner we can be done. Oh my god. Alright, so we've got Painted Koala, Semi-Ahoff, Depi Force. We've got Zoomer Worst Hard Rock Flare, Milo Milkshake coming in for his first time, and Enri as the fourth. Get the audio back up just for you guys, just because I love you all so much. Let's see who we got in. We've got Ahoff and Depi Force on the hiddens, and then we've got Worst HR Player and Enri on the hiddens for Pon. Does this technically count as beat map stealing? I'm not really sure. If I had really been thinking, I would have gone on YouTube and like found, you know, the Big Black, just the audio, and overlaid it so we could listen to the correct audio for this map. But like I said, you would have to slow it down a bit, so it wouldn't quite work out. Anyway, it's quite a few early breaks coming in. Painted Koala, Semi, Ahoff, Depi Force, all with early misses. Zoomer for Pon. Meanwhile, FC on Mellow Milkshake, near FC's on Worst HR Player and on Enri. I believe those are both slider breaks at the very beginning. And yeah, acking this is like not possible. Which is funny because it's OD0, but it's still impossible to act. Spezi. They're building some combo back up. They've got 265 on Painted Koala. Oh my goodness, that Buzz Slider just comes out of nowhere. It's like Buzz Slider hit sound jump scare. Oh man, worst HR player, by the way. Worst HR player, by the way. All right, he finally breaks. Worst HR player proves he's human. Nope, he didn't break. He was Bancho. He's not human. I lied. Sorry, guys. I'm making things up. And yeah, it's a 3 million point lead for Pawn. The question mark. I'm with you on this one, brother. The question mark is very near and dear to my heart. What do we got going here? Inequal, once again, kind of trying to be the shining light for Spezi as they continue to have their struggles on multiple members. But when you've got worst HR player on the other side doing what he's doing, it just doesn't feel like it makes much difference. What if I turn the music off and we just listen to the hit sounds? Any keeners? I don't think that makes it much worse. Does that really make it much worse? I don't know if it's any worse. Alright, worst HR player did end up finally breaking, but yeah, I mean, not a lot to talk about with this one. It's just, well, this map is not meant to be played like this. Wait, is this just copy pasted at the ending? Ooh, in their right mind. I didn't realize the ending was like this. Oh my god, that's so bad. That's so bad. What is that ending? I didn't realize the ending was like that. I didn't watch the entire map. I watched enough of the map to know that it was big black, and then I stopped. Also, Pennyqual A ranked. I don't care what combo worst HR player got. Pennyqual A ranked, therefore he wins the map. That's messed up. And 4-0 Pawn backing up their double break point. And Spezi are going to jump into free mod 4, which I'm going to check here. We did not see this map at all yesterday, so they are, as I kind of suggested, they are going to try something new. We're going to see something different, which I like from them. I like the, switching it up, trying to find maybe a little different style of map, maybe something that they can sneak a point in to try and get, a foothold in this match a little bit. So stream on for Kokoro Kiro, Hayashi. This is like half slashed on drugs, but that's not really fair because it's 09 Kami, who is, 09 Kami in his own right is like a super well-known rapper. Maybe it's just the Toho thing. But yes, so this map it's got aim, but it's also got anti-aim, but it's also got overlaps. But it also has stacks. Like, it's just really difficult. And that's it. And the reason it makes me think of a half slash map is because it's CS 4.7, 120 BPM. So it's got that like small circle size, low BPM. The only thing it's missing is being like AR7 or something. That would be the cherry on top. Somebody more knowledgeable than me about the mapping scene can look up if there was any inspo there between those two. But this map is just kind of brutal, and it's fortunately only brutal for a minute and 14 seconds. So if you're having a really rough go of things, you get the solace of knowing that it's going to be over soon. Whoa, Zoomer, brother. I wonder if he just got silenced for that. What the heck? Is he alright? That was only like 5 messages. He should be fine. Anyway, I wonder what the mods are going to be because, oh goodness. Wait, I'm panicking. There's missing mods all over the place here. There we go. All right, so we've got double hidden from Spezi. We've got triple hidden and a hard rock from Pawn. All right, these guys are on some other stuff. That feels like a little bit of hubris to me, going triple hidden on this map, because there are some really difficult overlap patterns and stacks in this map. But if they're comfortable with hidden, then more power to them. We'll see if Spezi can make them pay for it, though, as Pain and Koala holds through the beginning with the SS still. But unfortunately, all three of his teammates are going to find some misses. It's worst HR player versus Pain and Koala. What a surprise. Two players who've been playing the best in this match so far, still continuing to do so. And there goes Pain and Koala in that slider pattern. Worst HR player, of course, holds on. And now, not a lot of combo to speak of for Spezi. Depiforce kind of just doing his best here to try and keep this interesting. Worst HR player breaks, so it's not going to be over quite yet. Henry and Depiforce matching each other, but we're already so far through. We're already 2/3 of the way through and beyond. And with Henry holding the 200 combo, that should be all that Pawn needs to keep this lead. It's a valiant effort, but it's going to be for naught from Spezi. They're going to drop another break point here. It's going to be 5-0. And man, oh man, Henry. You call it like a reverse choke, I guess. Was that was like 3 misses in the early stage. 1 miss from worst HR player. Man, oh man. Hidden preference mod players, when they get to hidden preference mod. You see top score for the team from Pain and Koala. Unfortunately for him, the only player to go over 1,000,000 points on that side. That's another break point. 5 points in the bag for Pawn. 3 breaks. Oops. And this is starting to feel a little bit like a runaway. I do wonder, like, I feel like Spezi could go to those tapping maps. They, like I said before, they looked good on them yesterday. I'm not sure if they just don't have, I mean, what are they? So yesterday they had, it was DT4 Free Mod 3. And, like, both of those maps are available here. They could pick them. And I feel like at this juncture in the match, like, you might as well, right? They felt like a pretty solid tapping team. I don't know. It's going to be Free Mod 2 as the pick here for Pawn. Life is Beautiful, the Devious Panda diff. So it's Devious Panda and it's a rhythm heavy map. You kind of know what you're getting into there. Another map that was played in the match yesterday. This was a late pick for all G8 Bros. It was also their last point before Spezi closed them out with back-to-back Nomad 2 and Nomad 3 wins. You see this map a second time. We're a little bit familiar with it. Very difficult rhythm, very tricky little back and forth jump patterns. Some kind of control aim thrown in. Sorry, a little bit of typing there. Had to reply to something, but we are back. As we head into Free Mod 2, we've got Semi Batball, Ahoff, Depiforce, the latter 2 of those on the hiddens. Zoomer worst HR player Henry and Milo Milkshake this time for Pawn, with Zoomer and Henry the hidden players, and Milo Milkshake adding Hard Rock for good measure. I think this tournament would be a little more interesting if it had a minimum 1 HT, 1 HR rule, because some of these maps in the late stages with Hard Rock are just brutal, but at the same time, they might just be too hard, like in some cases. unless you are a like Gunga hard rock preference player. Anyway, things starting out pretty well here for Spezi. They've got a triple FC on the board. Semi, Batball, and Ahov starting off quite well. Semi and Ahov do end up breaking at about the 200 combo mark, though. And now Worst HR player Milo and Henry will have plenty of combo to take the lead over to the side of Pon, with Zoomer backing them up a little bit behind. Batball still holding on. He put on a good showing on this map yesterday. He's doing the same thing again here today. But, you know, again, it's just kind of become a little bit of a team thing where Pon just tends to have one or more combos, and often the more being the case. And even if Spezi has one really good combo like they have here with Batball, who makes it all the way to the back and forth before finally breaking, the other team has, you know, one if not more of those big combos themselves to match them. And Henry is going. All right, we're just watching him. There's no combo inside of Spezi at all. This section is absolutely insane. Finally breaks on the last back and forth jump pattern. Oh, what a shame. But it's an 8 million point lead. Pon once again, just kind of flexing their muscle. It was a really great run from Batball for a very long time on this pick, but unfortunately it's just not going to end up being enough to make a real dent in this lead that Pon is holding on to. Wow, even they're just FCing the ending and everything too, huh? Batball holding through the ending as well as Depp before it's finally breaking. Let's see who can make it through the very, very last moments of this, just for fun, because it's really hard. And it's gonna be multiple players. You're gonna see what, Batball, Henry, and Worst HR player? 743 combo S rank Worst HR player, 743 combo 7 Miss A rank Henry. Methinks there may be something at the 743 combo mark. What do you guys think? Okay, next pick for Spezi. Gonna go Hard Rock 1, which is a good song, and it's gonna be a new map. A really difficult Hard Rock 1 here. This is 7.67 stars. Is that with Hard Rock? Yeah, that is with Hard Rock, I guess. Very high BPM, 260 BPM. Ever so slightly smaller circles than normal Hard Rock as well, so, you know, just testing your precision just that little extra bit. 5.46 circle size. So something like 5.2. Another Cirrose Ray map in the pool. Last week's Hard Rock 1, of course, was Ray Cirrose as well. Wouldn't surprise me to see another Ray Cirrose in grand finals, because it just seems like we really like that artist in this tournament. We're gonna bring in some aim, which we really haven't seen. I mean, I guess, you know, you can count Masterpiece, but we haven't really seen any true aim maps so far in this match. So Spezi, you know, they are going that route of trying a kind of different skill set a little bit. Well, I should disagree. I should take that back, because Fremont 4 is aimy, but it's also got all the overlap breeding and stuff. So. I don't know. I still think I would have liked to see them pick a speed map. I'm not entirely sure I know I'm like harping on that a lot, but they won 2 points on speed picks yesterday. So, and I think they forced at least one if not two speed bans against them yesterday as well. So I'm really not sure why they're not willing to go back to that well, but it might end up not mattering, unfortunately. The Rundy coming in, I think the first time in this match, we'll see him. Ocarina again, you know, the mechanics core player, Pain and Koala, Deputy Force, both been kind of constants in the match for them. They've been throwing pretty well. And, you know, Pon, I guess they may be a little weaker on aim. They're having a lot of trouble here at the start. Zoomer and Enry both missing. Worst Sharp player and Milo, though, do manage to keep their FCs up, so they're going to match the FCs on the other side. Only one FC on the other side, Ocarina, about 4-day combo behind. There goes Worst Sharp player, and the door for really the first time this whole match is truly open for Spezi in this one. Ocarina and Pain and Koala are going all out on this pick. They really want to get that point. Ocarina with a slight miss aim. He just overaimed that circle. That's that little bit of precision thrown into this one that I mentioned. Pain and Koala, though. You know, if you remember the OWC 2022, Israel getting that point against the United States on No Mod 1. They just have some good aim players, I guess, huh? But the lead's gonna stop growing if he breaks, so he's gotta hold. I mean, it's not optional at this point. There's not a lot of combo to support him, but Pain and Koala performing really, really well. He's been, like I said, the best player this whole match, and that's going to kind of continue to be the case here. There are combos being built up on Pon, and the lead is only 3 million points, so a lot of weight on the shoulders of Pain and Koala, but he is carrying it bravely and earnestly as he keeps the combo up to 900. So he makes it through these slider patterns. Plenty of players getting tripped up on them in the first Ki, and there he maybe goes. I think that was a break before. He looked like he broke his Banjo, so we're going to keep an eye on that. But that's a lot of combo advantage now to Pon, as they are all holding on to some combo, and it's only Ocarina with combo on Spezi. But there goes Zoomer and Worst Sharp player and Enry as well. And that's going to kind of quash the comeback for Pon, as his Milo Milkshake with the only combo against Ocarina is still holding. As a quarter of the map to go, 600,000 points. This is the closest map we've had the entire way through by a pretty big margin. And there goes Ocarina, and now it's Milo Milkshake. Can he bring this over to the side? He breaks two, but they've got maybe the slightest bit of combo lead. The score lead goes over. Oh, this is going to be tragic to pull this rug out from under the feet of Spezi if Pon ends up pulling this map off. Oh, you just got to feel for the underdogs here if they can't manage to claw this back in the last seconds. It's just a couple 100,000 points. With the ending to come, there's not a lot of combo. It's Ocarina at 200, but Zoomer is matching him. 100 combo for Pain and Koala. Like, it could almost actually matter. Just that little, you know, every 20, 50 combo can be important when the score gap is only 200,000 points. This is so close into the ending. It might just be the hidden advantage on Zoomer that's enough, to be honest. That might be all it takes here, is just a little bit of extra score from hidden. And that is going to be it by 160,000 points. Pon just snatch it away from Spezi, who were on the verge of getting their first point on the board in this match. Despite the 10-0 score from Painted Koala, Pon just say, no, sorry, you don't get to have any nice things today. That is really unfortunate for Spezi, man. It looked for all the world like they were going to get that point in, and it just doesn't end up happening. Man, Milo Milkshake with the ACK. That, like, so the difference maker's there, right? Milo Milkshake, 98 ACK, better than anyone in the lobby by a percentage or more. And the hidden on Zoomer at the end, holding on to that combo. Like, those two factors just added up to make that score 158,000 points. That's all it took. And now 7-0 Pon. Match points, and quite a few of them. And DT2. Speedy boy. Romantic Children, mapped by Kurashina Asuka. From NAT Grand Finals in 2021. And I mean, it's a custom DT2. You kind of know what you're getting into on this, right? It's just really tapping intensive. Yesterday was banned out by all G8 bros, as I mentioned. Spezi forcing the speed bans. So we'll see if they can play well in this, since they've had it banned against them in the past. Wouldn't surprise me. 250 BPM bursts and streams and finger control. Got some long streams, got some short streams. Yeah. As I said, it's a custom DT2. I mean, I feel like that's a slot that has been pretty crystallized at this point in the tournament scene. I remember, like, did this get played, or did Zudi just ban this? I think it was Zudi, right? 2021 NAT. Because it was Zudi versus Utami, I believe. I think I'm actually in that server still. If they have a match log channel, I can go check. Well, yes, I am. 2021 results. I'm a Fancy Lad bans DT2 against Utami. Oh, they only had one ban. So she banned Nomad 2 both times. Interesting. Utami got 445k against her 63k in the first match of the Grand Finals. And 594k against her 50k in the bracket reset. Speed players when they are forced to play, or non-speed players when they're forced to play speed. All right, so we've got something about Poly. I don't know why we're talking about Poly. He's not involved in this, but Rundi Ocarina Batball Semi against Zoomer, Rimuru, Milo Milkshake, and Enri, and well, we'll see. I mean, like I said, Spezi had this banned against them yesterday, so you got to figure, you know, all G8 pros were definitely respecting their ability to play speed, but this Pawn team has Enri, they have a Kolobed, they have Zoomer, they're very scary on speed. Rundi, though, holding R8, finally gone. Ocarina, 98 AC FC, still on the board. Very nice. I've mentioned multiple times, he is the mechanics player for that team, and he's really been able to show off that skill set, and, you know, hasn't unfortunately led to map wins, but it's been impressive to see nonetheless. But when you've got a Kolobed and Enri on the other side, FCing, well, not just Enri, but with, you know, 97, 98 AC, Milo Milkshake is unfortunately relegated to 4th player syndrome. 77 AC double tap intact. But yeah, when you've got players like Rimuru and Enri on the other side, you got to be at your absolute 110% best to make a map like this stay close. And you know, it's just not happening too much for Spezi right now, unfortunately. Rundi's had it. Rundi's had enough of this. He's ready to go home, it looks like. Yeah, I feel for him. Never fun to be in a situation where you're stuck playing a map that you are just not really there for. It's going to be Pawn taking this point by, well, a comfortable margin, to say the least. It's actually Enri 1v5, or 1v4, excuse me. Actually, he might 1v5 if you count Milo Milkshake's score as well. It's going to be close. I don't think it'll happen. And that's going to do it. That is 8-0. Over to Team Pawn. And, yeah, GG well played, right? I think, what do I think? It's always difficult when a match goes 8-0. You know, because 8-0 on paper looks really kind of unfortunate for the team that got 0. And it's really easy to be like, well, they didn't belong to be there. What were they doing here? They can't play this pool. And in this case, we already saw this team win a match on this pool yesterday. So I think that would be a really unfair kind of conclusion to draw from this. I think really all you can take away from this particular outcome here today is that Pawn is a disgustingly strong team who everybody expected to be top 4, maybe top 3, maybe top 2, maybe top 1 at the outset of the tournament when we saw them sign up. They have players who are really, really good at Hippo Cup style maps. They've got just really high skill cap in general. And so they performed very, very well as a lot of players who are just incredible in tournaments. But, you know, you got to give the shout outs to Spezi. I talked about this yesterday. We haven't, I don't think, seen a true Cinderella story, a real underdog run of a team that nobody expected to be top 4 in this tournament since, like, Hippo Cup 3. It's been a lot of the same people over the past few years, kind of just repeating their performances. You have to go back to, as I mentioned again, like the team of like Death Sentence or My Angel Jonah in the first couple iterations of Hippo Cup to really find a team that did that made a really unexpected deep run through a loser's bracket, defeating teams that arguably they were not expected, quote unquote, to beat. And so for that, you really have to give them credit. You know, this team was, as I try to load my team sheet here, it takes a year. Come on, I just want to, no? There we go. Yeah, this team was seed 18, so they're not even a top seed in this tournament, and they got top 4. And I actually think that might be the first time that's happened in a while. So, you know, their run through the losers bracket, 8-0 here, notwithstanding, is something that you really need to celebrate, because they won a lot of matches, and in a tournament like this, that is just not that easy to do. So, all the credit to them. They'll drop out 4th place. Better result than I think anybody would have expected from them. But at the hands of a worthy adversary in Team Pawn, who are just an overwhelming force. You know, teams like Pawn, teams like Reginald, teams like One Dance, teams like the face thing that was Emrek's team. You know, those were the people that we expect to be top 4, much less so a team like Spezi. So well done to them on their 4th place finish. But now we have our top 3 set. We've got Pawn, we've got Reginald, we've got One Dance. Reginald versus One Dance will face off in 2 hours time, 1 p.m. Eastern, 17 UTC, 5 p.m. UTC, to determine who's going to be coming into grand finals from the winner's side, who's going to be coming into the losers bracket final to match up against Pawn next week. So that's going to be an incredible match. I think that might be that, and then the 2 matches next weekend are going to be some of the best matches of the entire tournament. Just the hardest pools, the best teams, the highest skill cap players. So you won't want to miss out on those. Make sure you're following the stream. So, you know, when that comes back on live, make sure you're in the server if you want to follow the stats and all, or in the, you know, results and all that sort of stuff. But for now, thank you guys for watching. Congratulations to Pawn on the win. Congratulations to Spezi on their unprecedented 4th place finish in this year's Hippo Cup. And I've been this one guy. We will see you later on today for a match you won't want to miss. The winner's bracket final of this year's iteration. One Dance, Reginald. Be there or be square. Get it square, like Masterpiece DT.